Good-looking crew we got here tonight. And I want to extend that this don't have to be the only night we can come out. Because on Sunday, they welcome each and every one of y'all. We'd love to have you on Sunday morning too now. I'm Jason Underwood, born in Fremont, years and years ago, 78 model. And grew up in that little town for the longest, and then we'll get into the rest of it later. But I always like to start when I do these, give my testimony about, it's not so much about how I was tempted, and each and every one of us face temptations every day. No matter if it's drugs, alcohol, whatever's out there. You can't even buy a toothbrush unless some half-naked woman trying to sell you a toothbrush with teeth. It's just temptation they try to throw in front of you. So I like to start out in Matthew 4:1. Then was Jesus led of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. He was tired and hungry. And when the tempter came to him, he said, "If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made of bread." But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God." Thank y'all for standing. With that right there, that just shows if the devil's going to tempt Jesus when he's down and out, brothers and sisters, he's going to get on your back. He's not going to come to you when you're all up on top of the mountain and everything's going good. No, he waits till you're down and out, and that's when he's going to wave something. He's not going to come to you with some big, fuzzy, red, beast-looking deal with horns coming out. He's going to dress up in the prettiest thing you've ever seen, the best-smelling thing you've ever seen, and he's going to hang it in front of you. It's not going to be some big, gigantic, ugly monster like you see on TV. That's how he works. And when he knows, just like Jesus, he waited 40 days without eating. That doesn't have to put me away a long time ago. I can go 40 minutes without eating. But after 40 days of really praying and not eating, fasting, being hungry, Jesus was at an all-time low. An all-time low. And this is the man that is perfect. He is never the only perfect man that was brought into this world. He never committed a sin. He'd done everything by the Lord and God. And if he's going to get on his back, he's going to get on our back. Yes. Fast, quick, and in a hurry. With that being said, I'm going to go in to my testimony. Let me get a drink of water. I'm getting tired. I grew up, like I said, at Fremont. And Mom and Dad didn't take me to a lot of churches, but there were some churches around that would come get us and take us. There was 3 of us. And I didn't really understand. I never got the full meaning, but I knew it was church, it was whatever. Even went to a couple of church camps. But when I was about 15 years old, we had started going to church at Mom and them at Family Worship Center in Manhattan, Mississippi. And I was going through some time, 15-year-old boy, knowed it all, hormones kicked in. Everybody knows the story. Well, I got to where I was let out of school doing other things I didn't need to be doing. Well, the principal got to where he was calling my mother. Well, I got wind of it, that Mama knew. I'm like, she's going to kill me. She's going to kill me because I ain't been but 12 days this whole semester. She's going to kill me. So me and 3 of my buddies loaded up and said, we're going to move to Alabama that day. We're going out, we got it all figured out. We're going to get full-time jobs. We're going to take my little gun and pawn that off. And y'all, I had a 66 Chevrolet pickup, 3-speed on the cop. Ain't no way we had enough gas to get to Hamilton, much less where we was headed. We got right outside of Detroit, and the truck broke down. We hitchhiked from there to the other side of Jasper, Alabama. Ended up at an abandoned motel or apartment building. We found a way in. We got us a little, thought we had a room there. We was kind of getting together what we was going to eat for supper. We split a can of Bayou sausages between 3 of us. We knowed we was in trouble. But we was like, we're going to get jobs when it gets daylight. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We didn't know what. There wasn't no cell phones, wasn't none of that going on. Well, about 2:30 that morning, somebody went to beating on the door. I'm like, we're going to get killed right here. We're going to get murdered or go to jail. It was that preacher standing there at that door, Mr. Wesley Kingston, when I opened the door. How that man knew where I was at, we hadn't told nobody. And how he found the building, the room we was in, I have no idea. But that man, when he opened the door, he reached his arms out. He didn't start condoning me, condemning me, or putting me down, or nothing like my mama behind him was trying to get to me so she could choke me. But that man stood there with open arms and hugged me up. He said, son, I think you need to go home with me tonight. I said, well, yeah, I think I need to too, because if I go to Tremont, I ain't going to make it in the morning. You'll be preaching my funeral. That man took me in, and we stopped at Trailblazers back when the restaurant was there, and got me a ham biscuit. I'll never forget it. I never got to get a ham biscuit. But anyway, we talked. He said, I'm not your pastor right now, I'm your best friend. And we went through the whole girl thing and all this. And he said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He said, I'm going to give you one shot. He said, we're going to go to Fulton High School. And I'm going to talk to you and let you come to school there. He said, but it's up to you to finish it. He said, but I'm going to get you in. Preacher, I don't know about Fulton now. I've been going to Tremont for a long time. He said, you're going. And he did, but before we went to the school, he said, before we do that, he said, all this ain't for free. He said, you see that lake? I need it weed eated around first before we go up there. So anyway, so I got the weed eated around his lake. He took me, and the principal said, I don't know what you saying, that old boy. He said, we'll give him a shot. My highest grade was like a 29. And I made him a promise. I promised him that day that he would see me graduate from my class in 97. And lo and behold, because you couldn't leave Fulton, they had security everywhere. It was like parchment or something. I mean, if you stepped out, they had you. Anyway, I went ahead and completed it, and when I graduated and I walked off that stage, that was the first man standing there when I got my diploma. And that meant a lot to me because and that's why I wanted to bring that up. I told Miss Sharon when I walked in and she met us at the door, and I said, I don't know if you remember or not. I said, but your daddy come got a 15-year-old boy that was, I would have been dead by now. But he never gave up, he never put me down. And he's seen it all the way through. And to move on, life took over. I graduated, started Mueller, graduated Friday night, started Mueller Saturday morning to be a fact. Anyway, life went on, had a couple of kids. And then I got to start messing with meth. And it was just like I was talking about. It wasn't about some big scary monster or one of these drug dealers you see on TV. It was a supervisor, somebody you looked up to, somebody you respected and had authority in the plant. He said, I know you've been working a lot of 12-hour days. We worked a lot of 3 to 3. He said, I got something to keep you up. And guys, it went downhill from there. It was just on the weekends I had to work. It progressed from just doing it on the weekends, then it became doing it during the week. And it just a little bit, and it just overwhelmed me. During all this time, my daddy went in the hospital to have surgery. A simple little heart deal. Well, he didn't wake up for 2 days, and they said they think he had a stroke. Well, me and my brother, my oldest brother Jamie, had made arrangements, this and that, and it was every day. If you want to see your daddy, you got to get over here. He's going to hold on. My oldest brother knelt down beside my daddy's bed that last week that was at the hospital. Grabbed him by the hand, and he said, and he started praying. Never heard my older brother pray before. Didn't even know if he knew how. He said, Lord, take my life and spare my daddy. I said, whoa, back up. I said, that man's lived a good life. I said, you better be careful what you're praying for. He said, no, I meant every word of it. Well, anyway, Daddy got to doing a little better. And we brought him home Monday on hospice. And he was improving. That Friday, I got a call that said, you need to get to the hospital, your brother's been hurt. I got to the emergency room exit that day. I was thinking worst case scenario, got his leg cut off, so everybody was walking out. He didn't make it. He got electrocuted. And I thought back, that prayer he prayed, I don't know if he took it that serious or if he meant every word of it, but it come to pass. My daddy went from hospice to home health to nothing, to eating fried chicken. I'm talking about smoking 2 cartons of cigarettes within 2 weeks of my brother. We ended up putting my brother in the spot we picked out for daddy. But he meant that prayer. And I believe with all my heart it come to pass. Because daddy improved. I got 5 more years with my daddy after that. Well, in the middle of all this, Mama gets diagnosed. And me and Mama never was real close, but when they moved her to the hospice house, this is all within 2 or 3 months. When they moved her to the hospice house, I didn't want my kids growing up thinking it was okay to hate somebody. So we all loaded up and went to the hospital. Made things right with her, then we lost her. And then, 2 months later, Daddy passed away. And then Lisa, both her grandparents passed away. It was right there within 5 years we lost several folks. And I used that as an excuse. I went and got me sack after sack, and it was called meth. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been around it or what, it kills every emotion you've got. Your kid can be standing in front of you and somebody can cut their head off. If you're high on meth, you won't shed a tear. You have no emotions whatsoever. And that's what makes it so dangerous. And then when you come off of meth, it hits you all at once, all your emotions. Everybody that's been trying to help you or talk to you about what your problem is, you hate them. You absolutely can't stand them. It's all their fault. I took it out on my wife forever. It's a wonder she just didn't shoot me. And Harold Hawkins wouldn't have felt her guilty. No, he ain't worth killing anyway. You done the county a favor. But she saw something in me that I didn't see. And she kept praying. She said, Lord, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. What do we need to do? And they found me behind one of those furnaces one morning. About 11 o'clock, I started to work at 7. I'd made it day shift. And this man come up behind me and he got me. And he was a superintendent over the press. And it was Thanksgiving. And he said, I just teared up when he got me, because I've been on a 3 or 4 day run and I just crashed. And he got me and he said, look here. He said, I know what's going on. And I started crying. I said, I know, Dwayne. I said, but I don't know how to fix it. I said, I've made a mess. I said, my wife is gone. My kids won't talk to me, don't have nothing to do with me. I said, I'm living in wherever I have me or standing in that old abandoned house. And I said, I don't know how to fix it. I said, they're having Thanksgiving dinner right now. I said, I don't even know if I can come in there. He said, you're going to have to get God in your life. And I started crying. I said, you're right. I said, but the first thing we're going to do is get away from all these folks down here. Mueller's a good place. It is. I mean, they pay. But y'all, there was more stuff coming in and out there, and that's the people I know. I didn't know the good people because I didn't want to be around the good people because all I wanted to know was the people that had to do it. Anyway, I handed my radio, and I told him all my tools was his. Take them, do whatever he wanted to do with them. I didn't care. I was getting out there and I was going to my sister-in-law to see if they would let me in for Thanksgiving dinner. And of course they did. And then my wife kept me in church 7 days a week. If there was a meeting, if there was a revival, if there was a singing, if there was something, I would go. And y'all, the good Lord, he reached down and pulled me up out of that mud hole. And I don't know if don't get me wrong, some rehabs are good and stuff, but somebody in a white coat that's never done meth, that's never been there, can't do what God can do. Because he sees it. And he's seen enough into me to let me go out. I've been doing like some broken life stuff and several of these addiction things. And it's just a blessing. Not only them people like, that just blessed, you don't understand. Y'all are looking up to me. That helps me with my sobriety. Because I don't want to let nobody down. Because that's what happened to me. People I thought was my friend or whatever. At that time, because I had a lot of good friends. I got a lot of wonderful friends here tonight. That would have done anything in the world they would have done if they would have known. But I would not listen. I didn't want to be around them. I cut half of them out of my life. And a lot of them's here tonight. And I'm proud to have them here, because this is a very big apology to each and every one of y'all that I've ever let down, I've ever turned away from, didn't return a call or a text. But I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all been with me through a lot, been with me for a long time. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. It's a blessing to have y'all here tonight. And that brings me back. If you're in a lion's den, a fish's belly, a fiery furnace, or a ball of tomb like Jesus was, it can look like it's over. But God's not finished yet with each and every one of us. Whether it be drugs, whether it be any addiction, anything, and I always like to say the word addiction, it's true, it is, and it's out there. But it's not in this book. My Jesus calls it, he calls it a sin. Whether you're sitting on the front porch or front row of a church pew every Sunday, coming to church and doing something, but if you've got sin in your life, it don't matter if it's a meth head trying to get right or trying to do better. Sin's a sin, and that's how Jesus calls it. And there's a lot of people that condone those people, and y'all, I've seen them where they don't do better and don't do better or whatever, but a lot of times, 99% of them, if they don't get it right off the bat, get put down, get named like drug head or something, they don't think they can do no better. They don't need that. We've got to uplift each other, and that's what I encourage at all these meetings. Build each other up. They've had enough tearing down there. It's the lowest point in their life right now if they'll ever be. Most of them's kids got took away, broken homes and stuff. And that's the biggest thing about these testimonies of these, like these addiction things. Those folks has lived it, they know. I can't stand them things right here. But it's amazing what God can do. And I've got another little thing. I know y'all wondering why I got the balls and stuff up here. And this is just like a representation of what Jesus can do. Regular baseball, $3, $4 at Walmart. In my hand, it's worth about 50 cents. In a professional baseball player's hand, you probably get $1 million for that ball for the sign. Basketball, I can't even dribble this basketball. It'd probably make a good court for a bobber or something. But in the right hand, this ball is worth a lot of money. A lot of money. Same thing with the football. But you give me 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, I'm going to make you a couple of sandwiches. In God's hand, it fed over 5,000 people. It don't matter what the object is, it's whose hands it's in. Just like a reflection of our life. If you put your life in the devil's hands, it's not worth nothing. It's not worth nothing. You put it in God's hands, eternal salvation, mercy, grace, and stairway to heaven. And I want y'all to think about this right here. Old Rusty 16-penny nail. I probably couldn't even build you a birdhouse out of him. Just to be honest, because a carpenter I'm not. Now I could weld them together. But that nail went in Jesus' hand and created internal salvation for the entire world. Next time you see a rusty nail laying on the ground, you think, I ain't worth nothing. If it was in Jesus' hand, how much was it worth? This whole book is wrote about how those nails were. And it's just amazing that he would take somebody strung out, committed every sin that the Bible talks to us about, and just treated people terrible like I did. Used and abused people. That's all it was. But that rusty nail right there was a promise that he loved me no matter where I was at, what I was doing, or how I was doing, or how I turned my back on him. He would come back to me. Because when that went through that hand and went into that cross, that blood, that first drop of blood, that was ours. That was every one of y'all second. And I want to challenge each and every one of y'all just to remember when that situation comes up, because every one of us is going to face one of those situations at some point in time. Because if you're doing right, the devil's supposed to get on you twice as hard. If he ain't getting on you, you might want to do a little check engine light, you know what I'm saying? Because he's already got you if he ain't after you. But if that, y'all see that rusty nail, just think about that first trickle of blood that went down that man's arm after he'd done been beaten and had the totus crossed. It was just spit on, everything to be done. He did not say one bad word to none of the people doing it. If somebody cuts you off on the 4 lane, sometimes it's hard to do, but you just remember that blood, just pray for them. Bless them, Lord. That's what I always say a lot. Bless them, Lord. And I'm going to do this right here. Sin. It will take you farther than you want to go. It will keep you longer than you want to stay and cost you more than you'll ever want to pay. The wages of sin, this book tells me, is death. And it don't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. If it feels bad in here, if it's pulling at you when you're doing it, you know. And that's what we call the conviction. If it don't feel right in here, it's not right. And it's listed as sin, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever, folks. This book, addiction's not in this book, but sin is. And it covers everything that we do that's not right by this book. And I'm going to ask, where we all stand at today. Do we respect this nail enough to know that we've got this blood and we know whose hands this nail went in for ourselves and for the entire world? Not just this county, but this entire country. And if there's anything that we can do, say, pray for, or whatever, if you don't feel like that blood's got your life covered by that rusty nail, these are some good praying folks here. I've seen it Sunday after Sunday. And if anybody here has got a need, or just something you need to get off your chest, I can't close without asking. If you want, these altars is always open. They always open on Sunday from start to finish. I've never said, don't come right, you won't see that here. If you got a problem, you come up here and there'll be 3 or 4 folks following you. But if there's something weighing on your hearts, something that you need to get off your chest, or just a problem, or just having a bad day, there's nothing like being lifted up by the Lord. It'll make your whole week go so much better. And just surround yourself and just remember, you'll see rusty nail everywhere you go. And that just stuck with me when I seen that about the rusty nail, because that was one of the really important things, that 2-cent nail was salvation and eternity for all of us to go to heaven. Thank y'all.